friends, this is Tracy from the Cherryville Branch Library. I have another virtual story time for you today. You'll notice today is brought to you by the letter H. Our uppercase H, our lowercase h. H makes it sound sort of like you're laughing, ha, 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 but without any sound. So, if you saw any of our clips over the summer, you'll know that we already did a letter H story time, but I still have a couple things that I thought we would guess for today. This first one is a type of sandwich. I think of it for summertime cookouts. You could put ketchup or mustard on it, or cheese or chili or relish, all kinds of yummy things. Do you know what letter H type of sandwich I'm thinking of? That's right. Did you say hot dog? I love hot dogs. I don't eat them very often, and yes, I mostly think of them as a summer sandwich, although you can eat a hot dog all year round. This next thing is something you might see on a farm. It has 4 long legs and a tail and a mane, and it eats oats, and you could ride it, especially if you put a saddle on it first. Do you know what letter H word I'm thinking of? That's right, it's a horse. And finally, this is something we all have right here. And it goes ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Do you know what that is? That's right, it's your heart. And I like this heart because it's a happy heart. Happy is another letter H word, right? So we have a hot dog, a horse, and a heart for letter H. But there was a very special reason I chose letter H this week. Do you know what that is? That's right, it's Halloween. It is time for haunted houses and horrible spiders. I know, so let's have some spooky fun, shall we? Take all of our little things off the board here. So the first thing, I don't know about you, but when I think of spooky things, I think about things that go bump in the night. And I found a really fun poem by Joy Moore and Raymond called Night Noises. Now, I don't know about you, but there have been times when I've been trying to go to sleep, and in my dark bedroom, something looks very scary. And then it turns out to be something like a pile of clothes in a chair. So I thought we would do the poem, and we'll see if we know what the scary things are. So are we ready? Nighttime noises, shapes and shadows creeping round my bed. Dad says it's imagination, all inside my head. But I hear something big and furry creeping round the house. I'm so frightened, what could it be? Oh, silly me, it's a mouse. Yep, just a mouse. But there are 2 green eyes at the window, and they're staring at the mat. I'm so frightened. What could that be? Oh yeah, silly me. It's a cat. I see enormous fingers pointing right at me. Oh no, I'm so scared. What could it be? What do you think that is? Silly me, it's just a tree. But I can see a great white face looking in my room. I'm so frightened, what could that be? Oh, silly me, it's just the moon. Nighttime noises, shapes and shadows couldn't hurt a flea. They were just imagination, all thought up by me. And that is the end of our poem. So, speaking about scary things and not knowing what's going on, this is my first book recommendation. It is Mouse's First Halloween. This is another one of the mouse books by Thompson and illustrated by Buket Erdogan. I still don't know if I got that name right. And yes, Mouse has never been out on Halloween night. And so think about the things you see on Halloween that would be really scary if you've never seen them before. And it's a really fun book. One of the things, too, I was looking at is, what is that Mouse is standing next to? That's right, it's a pumpkin, isn't it? So one of the other books I like to recommend is actually a book about pumpkins. This is by Jacqueline Farmer and illustrated by Phyllis Limbacher Tildes. And this is a wonderful nonfiction book about, let me make sure I got that name right. Yes, it is Farmer. See, we covered up the name with the sticker, so I wanted to double check that. It's a wonderful book about pumpkins. How do we get pumpkins? Well, they grow from seeds. So when should you plant them? How do you grow them? Do they all look alike? And the answer is no. Look, there are orange ones like we think of. There are some that are not round. There are some that are even black. Some are tiny. And so this is a wonderful, fun book about pumpkins. And speaking about pumpkins, what do you think that is? That's right, it's a jack-o'-lantern, isn't it? Did you know that jack-o'-lanterns have been around for a very long time and they weren't always pumpkins? That's right. They used to be, they've always used some type of gourd, a larger gourd. And that basically is just sort of a winter type vegetable. But a lot of times they would even make them out of turnips. Carve out a face on the turnip and carve out the inside and put a candle in it. I know. Can you imagine putting a turnip on your front porch? So, spiders. I have some jack-o'-lanterns who are going to go out and play on a spider web. If you've watched any of our videos, you'll know the 5 elephants. You know, one little elephant went out to play upon a spider's web one day. Well, I have some jack-o'-lanterns who are going to do the same thing. So, are we ready? Here we go. Put the first one on there. Oh, one little jack-o'-lantern went out to play upon a spider's web one day. It was having so much fun, it wanted another one to come. Are you ready to call out? Hey, jack-o'-lantern! 2 little jack-o'-lanterns went out to play upon a spider's web one day. They were having so much fun, they wanted another one to come. Hey, jack-o'-lantern! 3 little jack-o'-lanterns went out to play upon a spider's web one day. They were having so much fun, they wanted another one to come. Ready? Hey, jack-o'-lantern! How many do we have now? Oh, that's great. 4 little jack-o'-lanterns went out to play upon a spider's web one day. They were having so much fun, they wanted one more to come. Are we ready? Hey, jack-o'-lantern! 5 little jack-o'-lanterns went out to play upon a spider's web one day. The web went creak, the web went crack. Oh no! And 5 little pumpkins came tumbling back. And that is the end of our pumpkins and our spider web. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it? I know. I thought that was kind of a cute idea. My spider web, who knows what might play on it next? You never know. I'm glad it was jack-o'-lanterns. I personally do not like spiders. I find them very creepy and scary, and I do not like them. So, but speaking of spiders and other things, I have a witch, and this witch is looking for a bat. This is a really fun book. It is geared more towards older children, so probably kindergarten and up. I used to read it in kindergarten classrooms every year at Halloween, and it was a lot of fun. And it's called There Was an Old Witch. This is by Howard Reeves and illustrated by the awesome David Catrow. His illustrations are fantastic. I love them. But this is a takeoff on There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly. This is an old witch who wanted a bat. I know why she wants the bat, but I won't tell you that. That's actually part of the book. And that is what was probably the most fun to do in the classrooms, because each time you add something else, you get to say, I know why she wants the bat, but I won't tell you that. And after a while, the kids will get a little unhappy with that and say, tell us, we need to know why she wants the bat. So it's a lot of fun. But of course, we have pumpkins, right? So I learned a new pumpkin chant. It's from my friends over at Jayberry. I'll put a link in the video clip here because they actually learned it from somebody else. And so we always like to make sure the right people get credit. and it is about pumpkins. Now we need to be able to pat and clap, and we're going to do a pumpkin chant. Pumpkin, 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 bread. Pumpkin, 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 head. Pumpkin, 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 pie. Pumpkin, 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 eye. Pumpkin, 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 cake. Pumpkin, 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 shake. Pumpkin, 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 stew. Pumpkin, 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 boo. It's a lot of fun. I thought that was very cute. And I like that bread, because bread is kind of flat, and then cake, because cake hopefully is a lot thicker than bread, right? So if you're looking for a really nice book that sort of makes that leap between fall and Halloween, Dappled Apples by Jan Carr and illustrated by Dorothy Donohue. This is a really fun book about the things that are different when you start to see fall colors and you go out looking for pumpkins and scooping the goop out of the pumpkins, and also dressing up for Halloween. And I like the illustrations because they're actually done more like paper cutouts, so it looks almost three-dimensional. It's a really fun book. A lot of nice, interesting rhyming. Not a lot of text. It's almost reads like a poem, like poetry. But it's a really fun book. And then, of course, the last thing I think of is ghosts and haunting. And this is one of my favorite books to read. Who's haunting the teeny tiny ghost? And there's our letter H for haunting. This is by Kay Winters and illustrated by Lynn Munsinger. And yes, we have a ghost, and the ghost is being haunted. But by who? That is the question. So, yeah, it's a really fun book. And one of the best parts, of course, is that I get to act all spooky and go, ooh, which is a lot of fun. Every time I would read it in the classes, some of the kids would actually like huddle up together because I guess I got spooky enough. So yes, who's haunting the teeny tiny ghost? Okay, so everybody knows about the 5 little pumpkins, I think, that sit on a gate and roll. So I thought we would do that as our final thing because I think you know where they roll to at the end, right? Or at least I hope you do. So let's see. We'll go ahead and get our 5 little pumpkins ready. All right. So here's our gate. Ignore the 2 little white spots. This is the back of a flannel. So 5 little pumpkins sitting on a gate. The first one said, "Oh my, it's getting late." The second one said, "Oh, there are witches in the air." The third one said, "We don't care." The fourth one said, "Let's run and run and run." The fifth one said, "I'm ready for some fun." Then, whoo went the wind, and out went the lights, and 5 little pumpkins rolled out of sight. And that is the end of our letter H Halloween story time. I hope you had a lot of fun this week. I know I did. I'm wishing everybody a very safe and happy holiday, and we will see you again next week.